Ajak is perusing case files on a rainy afternoon in Nairobi. The 28-year-old refugee who grew up at the Kakuma refugee camp in northern Kenya never dreamed he would work one day as an intern advocate at a major law firm. Ajak says, thanks to a new law, getting a job is much easier now for him and 500,000 other refugees in Kenya.
You had to obtain a research permit before you start research. You had to obtain an internship permit before you start your internship. All those things now. It means you will not need another additional procedure, but just only your qualifications.
The Kenya Refugee Act 2021 was signed into law last year and went into effect in February this year, bringing several gains to refugees.
The biggest problem that refugees have had in this country since 1991 has actually been the incumbent policy, where refugees are domiciled to live within particular camps. And what we see in the Refugee Act of 2021 is that it moves towards removing that aspect of incumbent.
Rights activist Adhiu Achul says the new law will help this vulnerable community in many ways, but more needs to be done to raise awareness among refugees.
Policies are just theories, but not practical. So most of the time, yes, they will issue, they will sign, but they don't interpret these policies to refugees. Nobody is doing that. So that they get to have an access to information, to know these policies were signed, and this policy is saying this and this and this, so that they can start acting on it.
For Ajak, the new law couldn't have come at a better time. After being held back because of his refugee status, the new law has allowed him to apply for admission into the role of advocate at the High Court of Kenya and a job promotion to a full advocate.
It has enabled the refugees to actually access certain services without them being restricted. And that's why you see some of us are very hopeful.
The new law is part of the Kenyan government's refugee integration program as it prepares to close refugee camps by the end of June. Some agencies say more work needs to be done.
The government will need to relook at the timelines that are actually in place, but also take cognizance of now the Refugee Act of 2021 and begin a rethink in terms of how then do we need to handle refugees in the country, how do we need then to transition refugees from the camps, because it needs to be a roadmap towards solutions.
While the new law may ease the obstacles refugees have to get an education and employment, experts say it will take more time to address the full change of challenges refugees are expected to face. Juma Majanga for VA News, Nairobi.